wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Thank you so much for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show, live on YouTube. There's the music. Live on YouTube, starting at noon Pacific time, or anytime you want to, because you can watch it on replay. So I'm kind of like balancing a lot right now, so forgive the... I'm always casual, though. I don't know why I'm trying to make excuses here, but between the move and caring for my daughter and running around like crazy and trying to pack, which we'll get into a little later in the show. You know, I posted this on my personal Facebook page. I think I posted on Instagram too. The reason why packing takes so long, especially when you've been in a place for so long, is because you have to make that detour down memory lane, which is what I've been doing. The things I have found. How many of you, and I'll give you some details in the second part of the show. How many of you in this chat like have this box that you've moved since you left your parents' house for the very first time? So I have this box. My husband calls it my box of crap, but it is not crap. It is priceless treasures that I have. And in it, I have this book. It actually says, and I bet it probably is, my very first Bible. It's a little tiny book. And I used to, as a kid, put letters from my friends and boyfriends and crushes in it. And it's all folded that cool way, you know, where you can tuck in the corner. So of course I had to read them all. And so that took me a while. But some of the things that I found, I'll tell you some stories in the second part of the show. But let's start off with how we always start off, with a big thumbs up for the show. Please click it. It's right below the screen right here. Just click the thumbs up. Make it a habit every time you tune into the Nikki Medoro Show. Also support the show by becoming a Patreon subscriber. You too can be a Medorable and join the cool club by going to thenikkimedoroshow.com. Our link to the Patreon is right there. You can donate as much as you can afford every single month, and it keeps us hopefully in the black. And obviously it helps me. It helps Kim. It just helps keep the show on. And we love having it on. I always love the support we get during the show and even during the replay through the super chats. I've gone back, and many of you that watch the show on replay have actually donated to the quote unquote live chat or the super chat. And I appreciate it. I know so many of you, most of you aren't able to catch it live every single time. Some of you start late, and I appreciate it. And so if you could donate any amount during it, we'll give you shouts out during the show, and we just really, really adore you. Because I've packed away so much stuff, but I made sure that I pulled out a piece of the merchandise. We do have merchandise for sale. It's at thenikkimedoroshop.com, thenikkimedoroshop.com. Let me show you some of the new stuff that we have going on. We have the hoodies that people have been asking for. The best advice is to get a size up than you normally do. It was the same for the t-shirts as well. Just the service that we use to do this, they run a little bit small. There's the black hoodie with the air tower, the radio tower on the chest right there in a tiny font. There's the white version, and the air tower is in black. And then both of them obviously will have the awesome logo on the back. I also put it on AirPods. There's the Pro, there's the regular. And so that's the newest merchandise that we have up there. So grab it while it lasts. thenikkimedoroshop.com, of course, is where you go to get that merchandise. We're on Facebook. Hello to everybody that watches on Facebook. We do take PayPal as well. I hate doing all this. I won't do it throughout the show, just kind of at the beginning. The PayPal email is thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. I also have, and I remember to do it before the show started, I have a poll and I have a question to start us off. We're going to talk about this being the last day of dry January. So I want you guys to answer the poll. We'll get into a little bit after I tell you what else we have coming up on the show. But I want to know, did you take part in dry January? And what are your favorite no alcoholic or low alcoholic drinks? And I'm not talking, oh, I just drink water and coffee, which is what I normally do if I'm not drinking alcohol. But if you were going to go to a party, if you were going to a restaurant, what would you order if you were not going to drink alcohol? Is there a fun little mocktail? And I know some people don't really like that term, but is there a fun little mocktail that you like to drink? And put it out there. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'll touch on Brock Purdy's injury, of course. We're not going to go as in depth. Kim, who's going to be joining us in a few moments, she texts me yesterday, obviously about the injury, but then of course the rumor that we're looking at Tom Brady. I found an article that really lists some great reasons why Tom Brady makes sense. And it's not that I don't like the guy. It's not that at all. He's amazing. He's an amazing quarterback. I'm not knocking it. But it's just like, God, retire already. That's what I kept telling Kim yesterday. So we'll get a little into that. Mike Lindell, Mr. Pillow himself, is going back on Jimmy Kimmel's show. But the funny thing is he has agreed to do something rather odd. So I have sound of Jimmy Kimmel making that announcement. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, might have political plans, but I'm not quite sure if this hint is valid or someone trying to make some money on The Rock. Also, in the second part of the show, I want to get into now at least 2 recent stories, and I know there's more, of adults sneaking back into high school. Why would you ever want to sneak back into high school, right? Now, obviously, some of these stories may have ulterior motives, of course. But when we talk about this, I want to know, would you ever want to go back to high school? How was high school for you? Because I'm a little bit mixed on whether or not I'd want to go back to high school. So I'll explain that. Again, like I mentioned, I hate packing, but I'll share some treasures and some stories with you in the back part of the show. And then finally, because I'm moving, there's this huge question mark in my head of, do I get rid of cable? So I have satellite TV in addition to the numerous streaming apps that we have out there. I found a list. Now, this was written last year in 2022, but it's only the end of January, so it should hold up, of all of these streaming app options. And it goes way beyond Prime and Netflix and things like that, because Paramount Plus has now teamed up with Showtime. And I'm just wondering, have we hit so many streaming apps that it's finally happened, that we're just paying just as much as we did when we had cable? So we'll talk all about that. But let's welcome Kim McAllister to the show.
Hey,
hello, Kim.
what up?
Do you know what today is?
That would be Tuesday, January 31st.
Yes, which would mean, no, you do not know.
The
It
end
would
of
mean,
January?
yes, and the end of dry January. Okay.
Oh, yes,
So
indeed.
today is the last day. So basically everybody can get right back off the wagon, I guess, and start drinking again. Now, did you ever participate in something like dry January, sober October, whatever the hell you want to call it?
No, I didn't. But there's this liquor store in town called
Okay.
Willie B's Liquor Store.
Okay.
And they've got one of those marquee signs in front where they can change, what's on sale or what have you.
Right.
And their message this month has said, how's that dry January going for you?
Ah, well, I was reading an article about how hard bars and maybe even restaurants, but obviously liquor stores are taking it,
So it's a real
because
thing.
it's a real thing. I mean, and
Yeah.
it's not just dry January. There is sober October. Someone's saying sober February. It's not. I don't know if that's just continuing dry January, in my
Right.
opinion. But a lot of people are starting to really latch on to this dry January, at least. So let's see. A food and drink research firm did a survey. Now, this was in 2019. In 2019, 21% of people took part in dry January. Now it's about a third. So like 33% of people.
Wow, that's
and
a lot.
That's a lot.
You know what I think, though? If you tried it and
Mhm.
you feel better for whatever reason, your body is like,
Right.
this is a better situation. My life is better. I find that I can focus more. I find that my, everything
Of
is great.
course.
then by all means, go get it. You
Yeah.
know, stick with it. Do what you got to do.
We do have a poll up. 75% of you have voted so far, so keep voting. 77% of people say no, they did not participate. At least our listeners are drinkers, Kim. So I did not participate. 23% of you guys have participated in Dry January. And then I'm also asking you, what is your favorite non-alcoholic drink? And I'm not talking about what you drink at home when you're not drinking. I'm talking
Right.
about if you're going to go out, if you're going to go to a party, if you're going to go to a restaurant, what do you order if you do not want to drink? Or is it literally the same? Like, I'm just going to drink some water. I don't know, club soda with lime, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean, do you have a favorite non-alcoholic drink, or is it just
I just
your
order my my unsweetened iced tea, no lemon.
unsweetened iced tea, no lemon? See, I like iced tea occasionally, but I
Yeah.
like an Arnold Palmer, like an iced tea lemonade.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit of sweetness in there.
Uh-huh.
And then if I'm going to drink, I'll throw a shot of vodka in it, which goes against what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying.
I just promised I wasn't going to drink sugary drinks. So that's like it's talking about a commitment that you make to yourself, other than booze, which I don't drink very often, but I haven't, said I wouldn't drink at all. So other than that, on a normal day, if I'm not,
Mhm.
drinking alcohol or whatever, regular drinks, I don't have sugar in them. That's one of those things that
But you'll drink
little
like
things
diet. You'll drink diet.
no, I don't like the taste of fake sugars.
So you won't like
So
drink a sugar-free lemonade or anything like that?
I'll drink no, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll have a lemonade, but it's very
Regular.
rare because it
Yeah.
has sugar in it.
Right,
But
right,
no, I
right.
don't want the sugar free. I just go with a no sugar drink. Water, iced tea, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I mean, I gave a
I'm very
so
boring.
no, you're not boring. It's great that you don't drink. I drink. I definitely drink.
But like I'll take my wine has alcohol sugars in it. We'll go for that.
Oh, well, once you're drinking booze, right? I mean, there is sugar in booze. I think I'm right that vodka and tequila. I want to say tequila, but I know vodka has the lowest sugar content. And so I drink vodka. I do drink
Yeah.
bourbon, but I drink those in mixed cocktails.
But not on a
Um,
daily basis, right?
well, no, but do I drink? I probably have a beverage a night. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a lot. So I wanted to kind of get into that because
Yeah.
there was a great interview I was listening to online, and they were talking about it to a number of people that talk about the end of Dry January and people kind of reassessing their
Right.
relationship with alcohol. Now, what I sometimes do, and I should do more of, because I have my specific cocktail that anybody that listens to the show, you know what it is. It's either like a shot of vodka or bourbon, mostly club soda, and then I top it off with diet ginger beer. Okay, that's my
Okay.
cocktail. And in all honesty, I mean the bourbon has a little more flavor, but a vodka one, you don't taste the vodka. So what I was doing was just putting club soda and ginger beer and drinking that because it tastes pretty much the same. And really what I'm looking for is not to get drunk. I'm looking for kind of that end of the night nightcap type of drink,
Right.
right? We're cuddling on the couch. I'm going to have a cocktail or whatever. And that's going to be that. But because of what I just said, I'm in the danger zone. So let's see here's how many drinks. Well, one drink or less a day for women,
Right.
2 drinks or less a day for men. So I guess I'm kind of in the range, but that doesn't in my opinion, that doesn't count the weekend, right? So if I'm going out, I'm drinking more than one drink.
Right.
Um, and it makes me reassess, am I really being healthy and responsible in my alcohol choices, or should I just kind of maybe get on the dry January? Well, dry January is over, but on that kind of bandwagon of drink less. So there's
Do
this
you
guy.
feel like bad when you don't have your cocktail a night? Like, do you feel like you miss it, or there's some type of,
No, and it's not like I go to bed drunk. It's not like I'm drinking so much that I'm
right?
even
You have
impaired.
one drink, right?
Yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah. See, I'll have like, when I drink, which is maybe I want to say once a month, once every other month. Like
That's
it's
oh wow, you
quite
don't drink.
infrequent.
Oh,
So if I
okay.
go out to dinner, maybe I'll have a glass of wine or two, or if my husband's driving, 3, because I'm not
Wow.
thinking about it.
Right.
But it happens so infrequently that when I drink, I'll just enjoy what I'm drinking. Now it's usually one glass of wine. There's this new bar in Petaluma. It's a tiki bar.
Oh, I
And
saw your
so-
post on that. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
And so I had a mixed drink, like a tropical beverage there, and I would go back and do that again, but it's probably not going to happen more than once a month.
Right. And that's a special treat. And I think
Yeah.
that is, from everything that I've been reading, that's how we need to start looking at alcoholic beverages. Is it's not just a long, like, I drink water, coffee, and booze. It
Yeah.
should be I drink water, maybe coffee if you do caffeine, and then like a dessert, like a piece of cake or a piece of pie. Like, I'm going to have a cocktail. Yeah, if I was going to bed drunk, if I wasn't feeling, you know what I mean? If I was doing that every night, I'd probably have to start, the 12 steps.
Don't bother
or something
mommy
like that.
right now. Mommy's been drinking.
Exactly. I want to do some sound here. Now, this guy, let me find his picture. This guy is Aaron White. Okay. He's a neuroscientist. He's an advisor for the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. And he was kind of on this panel. What was the radio station? I want to give them props. WAMU. It's like a public radio channel. But it was a great discussion that they were having about alcohol. And here is what he said about kind of he was posed this question: are we really drinking less?
Yes and no. There certainly is a groundswell of interest in taking a break from alcohol. I mean, clearly all of the low and no alcohol beverages you see are kind of a hint to that consumers are interested in those options. Dry January, obviously, as the intro suggested, has really caught on. And I think that tells us that there's a large swath of Americans who are interested in thinking more about alcohol, asking themselves why they drink, when they drink, how much they drink, and really looking at alcohol more closely. And but at the same time, if you look at some of the harms from alcohol in the United States, they continue to go up. I mean, deaths from alcohol jumped 25% during the first year of the pandemic, and total sales, which we think reflects consumption in the United States, has been going up for years, and it went up the biggest amount in 2020 over the last 50 years. So we seem to be moving in two directions at once.
Yeah. And that's the concern, right? Is that, and let me get his picture off. Is that we're kind of going in two different directions. While I think that there is a lot of promotion about Dry January and mocktails and different types of things that you can enjoy, and realizing that you don't need alcohol to enjoy it, we all are also drinking more. Christina Mayer was also being interviewed. She's a social epidemiologist and was also touching on how much should we really be drinking. And again, you tell me, do you fall into this level?
Traditionally in this country, NIAAA has defined sort of heavy alcohol use as more than 7 drinks a week for women and more than 14 drinks a week for men. And that was based on a lot of the research around sort of other sorts of harms related to alcohol, but not specifically around cancer. So in recent years, I think there's been a lot more attention to the potential harmful effects of alcohol consumption at much lower levels of consumption. So for example, in Canada, just recently, their panel of advisors suggested lowering the recommended amount of alcohol consumption that is considered not harmful to 2 drinks a week, where it used to be 10 drinks a week. And that's because we know that 3 to 6 drinks a week is actually associated with higher increased risk of many different types of cancer.
That's kind of crazy. 2 drinks a week, right? I mean, that's a significant reduction. I mean, not for Kim, but for myself, that would be a significant reduction and a change of a habit that is obviously not healthy to have. One thing that I do, and I've mentioned this before, is if I do have a cocktail, I measure my alcohol. I have like one of those jiggers, that bartenders use to measure out. And I do that specifically because I know what happens when I go to a bar, and I go to like one of those great bars that don't measure, and they're just kind of pouring for how much they like you, right? And I find, like, at home, if I have a couple cocktails, I'm fine. If I go to a bar and have a couple of cocktails, all of a sudden I'm hammered way more quickly than I normally am because they're not measuring. And so it also makes me mindful of, okay, how much am I actually taking in? And I want to be aware of how much I'm drinking, especially because this whole conversation is making me wonder, like, maybe I should just drink a little
What's
less.
interesting is the way you think about it and
Mm,
you're thoughtful about how much you're drinking. Whereas because I don't necessarily, I guess I approach it in the way as I don't care about alcohol. Like I don't care whether I drink or whether I don't
right.
drink. So I wouldn't care to measure. I wouldn't care to know because I don't, it's not on my mind.
Right.
So it's the thoughtfulness with which you put into it, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think it was a couple of years ago, we were still at Station X, where I did give up booze during the week because I needed to. It was one of those things where I'm like, do you need your nightly cocktail? Because if you need it, if you
Hmm.
can't go to bed without it, then we're getting
Right.
into the problem area. And I was able to do it, and that spicy, sweet and spicy tea that I was telling you guys about was great. But I also want to maybe delve more into still having a kind of a special drink at night that's not tea, right? I mean, it's tea's fine, but it's not fun as
I thought
much,
you were
right?
drinking the mushroom drink.
Well, that's coffee, and that's for the morning time.
Oh,
That's morning time stuff. You can't have
my
that at
bad.
night.
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But there's this guy, Derek Brown. Now, this guy's interesting. He was a bartender, a mixologist, but then started this organization called Positive Damage. And he also wrote, well, let me show you the website. And I guess they do, they'll come to your home or they'll give these conferences or what have you to teach people about reducing their alcohol use. So here it is, a different kind of wellness company seeking to change the way we drink. It's called Positive Damage Inc. Inc. And there he is, learning to create no and low alcohol drink programs. So probably works with restaurants or whatever. Consults people, helps you create menus, and then obviously does some coaching. And so it's one of those things where if you learn new recipes for drinks, that could probably help you, right? I mean, it could probably help you realize that I can have something fun to drink. So here is Derek Brown, and this was him explaining how his friends felt after he told them, I'm going to be going down this different path.
Well, I thought it would be a surprise to many, but it was really actually different than that. A lot of people said, gosh, we were worried about you, and we didn't always know how to approach it. And everybody was supportive, which surprised me too, because I thought I would get a lot of pushback for it. I thought a lot of people would tell me, what, you were telling us all this time to drink, this great rye whiskey or this great cocktail, and now what are you telling us? Don't drink? And so I was afraid that that was what I was going to encounter. Instead, I got nothing but support. People understood. They were excited about, the possibility of great non-alcoholic cocktails or low alcohol cocktails. And I think that that's really encouraged me, and it made me realize that I actually am not really changing my mission that much at all. All along I've told people I want you to drink, this great product or that great product, whether it's with alcohol or not. It really is about giving people options and giving people choices, and not just how they want, what they want to drink, but how they want to feel.
Yeah, that's the part. It's like, how do you feel about your alcohol use? Derek Brown also wrote this book, Mindful Mixology, a comprehensive guide to no and low alcohol cocktails. And I have one more clip from him talking about
For a lot of people, and myself included, when you think of reducing or eliminating alcohol, you think you're giving up something. But in fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I found that there's so many new options out there, right? In terms of what you can drink. So many wonderful non-alcoholic products, beers, wines, bitters, everything that you could get before is there. And so I'm out there trying to be the Pied Piper of no and low alcohol cocktails and help people find this information.
Yeah, so Mindful Mixology is the book that he wrote. And I just think that with dry January coming to an end, it's a good time to look back, because I'm sure there's many people that might have been white knuckling it, right? And just been like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I just have to get to February. RJ writes in, alcoholics are usually the last ones to know that they have a problem. And so maybe it is time to kind of reassess that relationship. Drinking's fun. I mean, I like to drink. I really do. I'm just being completely honest. But I also know that I don't want the increased risk of cancer. I don't want cirrhosis of my liver. And obviously there's also even if you don't drink a lot, but you just drink regularly,
Right.
you look like you drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I mean, it can in your
You don't
skin.
look like, I mean, I don't notice that you look like you drink one cocktail a day. I would never know. I mean, is there a look?
No, well, I mean, it's not good for your skin. It can dry you out, right? I mean, obviously, after a while, I'm sure that you can get this kind of look to you, redness, I guess. And so, you have to do certain things to drink plenty of water. There was Cosmo actually did this thing. They did 7 alcoholic drinks ranked bad to worse for your skin. Okay. So the worst ones. Okay. So they started with the least bad. Tequila has less sugar than other alcoholic counterparts. So it's less likely to trigger inflammation and breakouts, but you have to skip the salt, right? Because obviously that's not pretty good for you. Beer is bad, but not horrific. It does contain some salt, but some beers contain antioxidants and anti-aging benefits, which I did not know. Gin and tonic comes in next, or vodka tonic. They're both free of something that would produce, the word is escaping me, that would produce a hangover. Low in sugar and salts, provided you go for a diet tonic, which I know some people don't like diet. White wine is when you're going to start getting bad, because obviously it has more sugar in it. Okay. And so that's not very good for you.
What about the red wine?
Well, you're jumping ahead. You need to wait. Okay, I'm sorry. You need to wait on my list. Just kidding. You wait, red wine drinkers out there. Mojitos are bad, especially for wrinkles, because it has a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs, also the sugary syrup and things like that. So that's not good. A margarita comes in number 2 as one of the worst because it's a double whammy of sugar and salt. It leads to a puffy face. So you don't want that. And then the worst, my friend, is the red wine. It promotes the opening. And I know this because back in the day, right now, honestly, if you gave me 1 or 2 glasses of red wine, my face would turn beet red. Because of what red wine has in it. Mm-hmm. It promotes the opening of blood vessels in the skin, can lead to redness. There's also like an alcohol allergy that you can also have. But yeah, it also is a histamine releaser, which promotes redness and flushing. So as someone who has a bit of rosacea and I naturally kind of have a redness to my face, if I drink red wine, I'm like a stop sign, dude. I swear to God, it can get pretty bad. So I stay away. I love red wine. I just don't drink wine a lot. I really don't drink beer a lot either.
Now, that sucks because isn't red wine supposed to be good for you in other ways? Nice. Good for heart health. You know?
Yeah, you'll just be red.
It's like,
people will just know.
So, damned if you do and damned if you don't, Nikki.
Exactly.
Just pour me a glass of wine and let that be the end of it.
Well, thanks to everybody that participated in the poll. Apparently, most of you, at least listening live, did not participate in Dry January. But if you did, be proud of yourself. It's not easy for everyone to do, even if they are a casual drinker, even if they, but they just don't want to give up that one drink a night or a couple drinks a week. So I applaud yourself. Break your arm and pat yourself on the back because it's not easy for everybody. Okay, coming up, I'm gonna just touch on my thoughts about Brock Purdy's injury and Tom Brady possibly becoming a 49er. I'm not too enthusiastic about it, so I won't spend too much time on it. I also want to play you some sound from Jimmy Kimmel's show last night, where he is invited or accepted Mike Lindell's offer to return to the show, but there's a huge caveat, which it boggles my mind that politically this is where we are as a country. And then a question for you all. Would you ever want to go back to high school? There's 2 recent stories of adults pretending to be kids, teenagers, to go back to high school. And so this just begs the question, isn't it weird? Would you ever want to go back to high school? Why or why not? I also want to ask him a parenting question that I saw online and see what she would do, because we also need an update on Kick Me Sign himself, Jacob. So that has to
Oh.
also come up. California has a big housing deadline. We'll get into that as well. Of course, click that thumbs up button. It helps out the show. We really appreciate it. And now here's Kim with the news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. Well, this afternoon, it is a memorial service being held for the 7 victims of last week's shootings that happened at 2 farms in the Half Moon Bay area. This is an interfaith service. It is set to be held at 4 this afternoon at the Boys and Girls Club Event Center. That is in Half Moon Bay. And that will be followed by a candlelight procession and a dinner and another gathering. So today, people will come together to remember. I want to talk a little bit about the shouting match, and I wish I could play you video of this, but I'll tell you guys, there's a lot of unsavory words, shall we say, that were shouted outside the 49ers game on Sunday.
Oh, yes, I did. That is Joey Bosa right there, right?
That is Joey Bosa. He is a Chargers linebacker, of course. He is also the older brother of 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa, and he should know better. Don't you think that if you're an NFL player, that you're kind of, should be more immune to the heckling, be able to tune that stuff out as just background noise?
You would hope, but no.
So he's in his 49ers gear, and you'd think they would whisk him into a special entrance, but he's going in to the game on Sunday in Philadelphia to see the 49ers and the Eagles, and he's totally decked out in 49ers gear. And this other fan starts yelling at him. And he says, "Hey, when do the Chargers play this week?"
I know.
And Bosa could have laughed him off. He could have just ignored, but he didn't.
No.
He was goaded into getting involved in this yelling match. And he says, "What are you Snapchatting your little
butt buddies?"
Expletive. Yeah, he said that. "You effing loser." And they're yelling back and forth. And the guy makes fun of his 49ers gear. And he's like, "At least I can afford it. I can afford it." And it's on and on and on. It's like, you just let this guy have this video of you, and so that happened.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, we have the cuter brother, in my opinion. I always rate brothers by the cuteness. The Harbaugh brothers, I think that Jim Harbaugh is much cuter than his other brother. But yeah, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, amazing, obviously, football players that they made into the NFL. But Joey Bosa blew it.
Can we talk about this situation?
Yeah, buddy.
This is the first time, I believe, that 2 brothers will be competing against each other in the Super Bowl. And the story's really more about the mom. Her name is Donna Kelsey. Am I saying that right? Kelsey? Kelce. Yeah. Donna has 2 sons, Jason and Travis. So one plays for the Eagles and one plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they are going to be facing off. She is the first mother to have 2 sons play against each other in the Super Bowl, according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't know if she gets her picture in the Hall of Fame for that, but I think she should.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess on the field, but I mean, the Harbaugh brothers, Jim and John Harbaugh, I mean, that was a Harbaugh, remember? I mean, they were coaching against each other. So
coaching, but not playing.
I know. Well, I mean, they're
Look
on
at
the
her
team.
bearded boys that she's got
I know.
there.
All right, who's cuter, right or left, Eagles or Kansas City?
Oh, that's hard. Well, the picture on the right, number 62, it's a little hard to see his
I was going to
face.
choose him anyway, though. I think
His
he's kind
beard
of
is
cuter.
so bushy. I'm going for the other guy.
Yeah. I like it.
I don't know.
I like the guy on the right. You can take the guy on the left. There you go.
Her sons are cute, though.
They are. They're very cute.
And so, yeah, she's apparently she has not been able to watch both of her sons at the same time because, they always have these different games in the conference matchup and everything. And so now she is so excited to go. And she's like, it's your hopes and dreams coming true, but it's also your worst fears. She goes, so I'm going to go watch both of them, and it's like a dream come true for them, but one of them is going to have their dreams dashed. She says somebody is going to go home a loser, and neither one of them loses very well, she said.
Well, and also, I mean, how do you congratulate one and console the other, right? And I'm sure, I'm sure she's been dealing with this for a very long time. I mean, if both of her sons are in professional football, I'm sure there have been moments where they've had to play against each other or not been on the same team or whatever. So it's exciting. I don't know if I'd actually even go to the game. I might just sit at home because I feel like the camera would be on me all of the time, every
Oh,
time
it
my
will.
son did something. And
Yeah.
I would feel too much pressure to constantly either be cheering or I don't know. Do you cheer? Do you not? It's
You
a
have
difficult one.
to. I mean, unless one of them gets hurt, you kind of have to cheer
Yeah.
their successes.
Yeah.
I've seen other family members that have had, people on both sides on either side, either team,
Right.
split jerseys where one is, half would be Kansas City and half the jersey would be for Philadelphia. So
Mm.
she'll wear, well, there she has one.
Yeah,
But
there you go. It's right there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, geez. Tough one.
Linda Ronstadt, she's such a great singer, of course,
Mm.
now suffering from, I believe, Parkinson's, so not singing anymore.
Oh,
But there is this, I don't know if you saw the Last of Us.
I am watching that show.
Okay, so yeah, HBO Max. It's called The
Mhm.
Last of Us, and it has this song "Long, Long Time," and that
Okay.
is a Linda Ronstadt song, and
Oh,
it
okay.
has, because it's on the show, it's become more popular,
Uh-huh.
but apparently
Mhm.
she might not get any money because of that.
Why?
Well, apparently, like many other artists, she sold the rights to much of her music
Oh,
to
yeah. Well,
an artist group, and there's a chance that she'll get some streaming royalties, but she's not credited as a writer on the original song. She wouldn't get a publishing fee from
aw.
HBO Max, and so she might not get any money from this, having this more streamed because it's been on the show. So,
That stinks. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
yeah,
are you watching that show, The Last of
I
Us?
haven't. Should I? Do you think I should?
Mm. So hard with you because it's a zombie movie. So it's based, I guess, on a video game. People in the comments, I think I'm correct about that.
Is
And
it
it's
super violent? Like, are people eating each other's faces off?
yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it's violent.
then no,
It's
thank
violent.
you.
Okay, but it's really good. And the last episode, and RJ, I'm assuming you're talking about the latest episode. It was all featuring these two guys. So no spoilers, but a relationship between, two people who have to live in this town that's been completely abandoned. Amazing episode. But yeah, it's zombies killing each other, eating people and
Are you enjoying that, Nikki?
I love it. I'm in my happy place. I don't know how much more I can express how much I love. I'm also looking for the new. Oh, we talked to Tim Sika on Friday. The new M. Night Shyamalan movie
Oh,
is coming out. When something knocks, or the cabin door knocks, or something like that. My
okay.
M. Night Shyamalan. It's always a crapshoot, right? Because he's the king of the twist endings, right? Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
things like that. So I always have to watch it because I love those types of movies.
Yeah.
My husband hates it because he always thinks that they suck. I mean, The Sixth Sense was good. Unbreakable was good. That was with Bruce Willis. But some of them were just complete, bombs. So, but I'm totally excited about that because he does these suspenseful movies. So I'm really excited.
So my last story is about the yahoos in New York on the radio. There's always some bozo on the
Oh,
radio.
yeah.
And as a radio girl, I don't know if you heard about these guys. They're on WFAN,
Okay.
and the show is called the Boomer and Geo Show.
Okay.
And these two yahoos are talking about Brock Purdy and how he's a wimp
Oh
because
God.
another quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, somebody else, those guys they say they're, the big guys because they'll do whatever it takes. They'll play injured, they'll do underhanded tosses, they'll figure out other ways. And that Brock Purdy left the game, they say, makes him wimpy, makes him somehow less than.
Whatever.
Okay, the guy has a torn ligament in his elbow. He is going to require surgery. He's going to be out for a long time. Obviously couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Tried to go back in and pass it.
And
But
he did.
yeah,
He made he did a completion. What was it, 5 yards or something like that? But come on, I'd like to see these guys go out there and do any better when he's completely torn that ligament in his arm.
Yeah. And if you don't know if you continue to use it, are you damaging your future and the rest of your career? And is that going to be worth it? But that's what they're saying. He said, I felt like he was making a business decision to, not trying to push the ball downfield. Like, I'm the new quarterback, not going to hurt myself for the rest of my career. I'll sit this one out. Well, yes, you don't sacrifice yourself for one game. Am I wrong on that?
Well, no, I definitely think that at this level, it's being able to do the job. He could not throw the ball farther than 5 yards. I mean, could he have stayed in and handed it off? Possibly. But think about how much that has to hurt. These people that, that sit behind microphones and just talk about it all the time.
You and me.
They have no idea what it's like to be in that position. And yeah, I mean, Mahomes came back in with a sprained ankle and kind of hopped around a little bit. I don't know. He wouldn't have pulled himself.
To say this is.
Yeah.
One of the guys' names is Giannotti. He says, hey, once I suffered an injury playing softball, but I still tried. Really? You're going to compare yourself to an NFL player? He said, I'll tell you, if that were Patrick Mahomes, he'd be throwing the ball underhand. He'd be playing lefty. There's no way he would have come out of the game. At least try to throw the ball downfield without using your UCL, your elbow injury, to see what it looks like. Probably would have looked like a kindergartner trying to throw a shot put, which I guess could have been fun to see.
Oh, geez. I mean, I just think that I think Purdy in no way, shape, or form wanted to be out of that game. I mean, no way. If they would have said this, and again, I still don't think he would have pulled himself, but if they were losing badly, right? If it wasn't the beginning of the game, which is when it happened, but they were losing badly, and then he injured himself, and he's like, we're never coming back from this. Why am I going to do it? Maybe I would give a little bit, but I still don't think he would be able to do that. But this was the beginning of the damn game. The guy is on a winning streak. No way in hell does he want to not play. Come on.
Listen to how brutal it goes on. We had this legend of Brock Purdy, he said, and he let us all down yesterday. He let us all down because he didn't try.
Oh, shut the hell up. What?
I know.
Yeah, they're in New York. What the hell do they know? Shut up. Give me a break.
Oh, I thought if I gave you that story, you'd be a little upset about it. I mean, what a bunch of dummies. This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and businesses. If you need help with your taxes, you must call Steve Moskowitz. He's at 888-TAX-DEAL. He's also at MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
All right, so how many of you think that Tom Brady is going to become a San Francisco 49ers? Okay, let me know in the comments. You do. So Kim, you do. You think
He's coming home. He's coming home, and I don't blame him.
Okay, so full disclosure, Kim texts me yesterday, right? And I already know about the injury, but she's like, "Did you see this?" And I said, "Yes." And then and the rumor now is Tom Brady's definitely coming back. And I feel so torn about this, Kim, because on one hand, I mean, teams would kill to have Tom Brady on their team. Did you see, even though we won, of course, Rob Purdy beat Tom Brady, but the line of 49ers who were waiting just to shake Tom Brady's hand after the game. Like, they just wanted to meet this guy because we all know how great he is. Okay. You can disagree, but you can't disagree. I mean, come on. You might not like the guy for whatever reason, Deflategate, whatever. Fine. But I don't know why I don't want him to come back. And I think when I dig deep, I just feel like he should have retired last year. And because he keeps playing, it's like, dude, just go home.
Okay, but let me just throw out this scenario.
Okay.
Tom Brady comes back to the Bay Area for 1 year.
1 year.
He's not doing it for money. He's doing it for the home team and for glory and to end his career on a high note. And so he's extra motivated to bring home a win for the 49ers. And so in your world as a 49ers fan, Tom Brady comes in and he gets a Super Bowl win for the San Francisco 49ers next year. Are you still Miss Naysayer over there? Or are you
of course
welcome
not.
Tom Brady, now retire?
Oh, okay. I will maintain from the very beginning. I think Tom Brady should have retired. I thought he should have retired last year. I still maintain that. If he did not come back and play with the 49ers, I would not be disappointed at all. But if he does sign with the 49ers and if he does bring us a Super Bowl, of course I'm going to give him props. And yes, if he does well, he's part of my team and I will root for him.
Yeah.
There's just this overwhelming one. I will always consider him a Patriot, even though he's won a Super Bowl and he's been a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I understand that, but he's a Patriot. I'll always consider him part of the Patriots. I don't feel like he did the Buccaneers any favors by coming out of retirement. I think he could have left on a higher note.
Right.
There was this article. Where was it? This was in USA Today. And it was kind of laundry listing all the reasons why Tom Brady makes joining the Niners makes sense. One, like you mentioned, he's from the Bay Area. He's rooted for the 49ers, right? He would immediately contend for a Super Bowl ring, which he still has it. It's not like he doesn't have it. So he still has it.
Yeah.
This person says, I bet he would not want to go out on the NFL on that note in 2022, because obviously that was the first that he's ever had a losing record in the NFL was this past season.
Yep.
The Niners, and this is the one that sticks with me. We need a quarterback. So again, Brock Purdy tore his ulnar collateral ligament. Now I have a picture right here. Let me bring it up. I just want people to understand the talk crap about, oh, why didn't he go back in? I mean, look at this. Look at this. Hold on, where is it? There it is. Oh, is it going to be too small? I don't know. Are you going to be able to see that? Yeah, it's too small. But basically, it is that where that arrow is pointing, it's right like in the middle of your elbow, where it kind of, you use it, right?
Yeah.
It's vital to being a quarterback. So he's going to have surgery. He's going to be out for 6 weeks, or 6 months. So obviously he's not going to be doing much between now and then.
Right.
Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back. I mean, I don't know who's going to take him. And then did you see the pictures everybody was giving of Jimmy smiling on the sidelines while we were losing? And I'm like, come on, the guy's allowed to smile. I don't think that he was like basking in our failure or anything like that. And by the way, he would have still gotten a ring if we won because he's part of the freaking team, people. So I don't think Jimmy's coming back. So we need a quarterback. Should it be Tom Brady? I don't know. Trey Lance, he has had 2 surgeries on that ankle. He fractured his fibula and had ligament damage. So he may not be 100%. So that alone makes me be like, all right, maybe we should bring in Brady for 1 season and see what happens. But if he doesn't bring it to us, I'm pissed.
Come on in.
I mean,
I want him to be home in the Bay Area where he grew up, where his parents still live here, his family's here. Like, let's go.
Yeah, a lot of people, Vilma, 1 year, only told Purdy as well. So I'm seeing a lot of you wanting Purdy. So we don't like Trey Lance anymore, I'm assuming. Are we done with Trey? Because Trey, I feel so bad for. He didn't get that much of a shot. He wins the job and then just gets injured. Murphy writes, Jimmy's smile was just a pretty person smile. He just looks like that. He doesn't have RBF. Yes, resting bitch face. I see that. Yeah, Jimmy is just, I'll look at him, even on the sidelines, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance will be backup, is what the pros are suggesting. Yeah. A backup to who? To Tom Brady or to Brock Purdy? I mean, is he going to be the 3rd string? These are all questions. I don't know. I don't know what I want. We'll see what happens. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. If we get Tom Brady, that'd be huge, though. That at the very least, that would be huge. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the best wishes for Brock Purdy, who I think has definitely proved that he can lead a team almost to the Super Bowl. So he's definitely proven that much. Is it enough where he gets the job outright? If we don't get Tom Brady, I don't know. He needs to show some promise after that injury. I love this. Tom Brady is old. Yeah, he's the oldest. I mean, him and Aaron Rodgers, right? So, some people say it's never going to happen. I don't know.
So I was talking to Rich Wolkoff yesterday, texting back and forth, and he said there's a good chance. There's a real good chance.
I don't know what I'm going to do then. I don't know how I'm going to vocalize how I feel about it because I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I mean, it'd be kind of cool. I'll give it a little bit. It'd be kind of cool to see Tom Brady in a Niners jersey, right? I mean,
Oh, she's
hometown.
coming around. I can feel it. I can feel it.
But if there's one thing that I can't stand, oh, dude, do I have the article? Hold on. Tom Brady. Okay, this makes me wonder, though, people. This makes me wonder because all of you, oh my God, you can't say that if you're originally from the Bay Area. This is a quote from said Tom Brady about the injury to Brock Purdy. Injuries play a role in every game, and your margin of error changes quite a bit. Obviously, San Fran had really no chance to compete yesterday. I don't feel like anybody that's from the Bay Area would say San Fran. I'm judging.
Allowed.
He's not allowed to say. Who the hell says San Fran? Who
He's
says
from
San
here.
Fran?
He can say San Fran.
Nobody says San Fran. Give me a friggin'.
That.
Nobody says that. But anyways, all right. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know when the announcement's going to be made. I mean, well, obviously we have to get through the Super Bowl and everything like that. But unrestricted free agent. There you go, Niners. I think it was Kim that wrote in like we're bleeding cash. Yeah, we're hemorrhaging cash with all these hurt quarterbacks. Exactly. Paying off these contracts. Jeez Louise. Okay. Talking about people hemorrhaging cash and probably losing their ass. Mike Lindell. I mean, remember when the MyPillow before he latched onto Trump? I mean, it was everywhere. Full disclosure, back at Station X years and years ago, when the MyPillow first started coming out, I actually did some sponsorships. They sent us free pillows to try out. I started out liking it. We stopped. I ended up not liking the pillow. This has nothing to do with Mike Lindell. I didn't particularly like the pillow after a set period of time, especially when they promoted it as just throw it in the washer and you can fluff it up. No, you cannot do that. But anyways, putting the product aside, he was making buku bucks with this pillow. He is losing his butt because of lawsuits and everything having to do with voter fraud and Dominion voting systems and going out on television and saying all these things. He is not giving up. Well, apparently he's been trying to get the word out that he, about saving the nation and all this, that he's reached back out to none other than Jimmy Kimmel. So he's been on Jimmy Kimmel's show before. Many people, depending on, I guess, what side of the political aisle you find yourself on, thought that Jimmy Kimmel humiliated him on his show, right? Was making fun of him, made him seem not well. Basically, there was one article where he was saying,
how do you interview a crazy person?
Well, exactly. So this was in April of 2021. Kimmel told Lindell he thought he was self-destructive based on his increasingly extremist beliefs about the supposed fraud in the presidential election. But here's Jimmy Kimmel. Now, this is from last night, talking about Mike Lindell constantly reaching out to him.
Mike has repeatedly asked to come on this show, and I've repeatedly invited him to appear on the show under one condition, and the condition is that he lets me interview him from inside a claw machine. You know the claw machines they have at the arcade? The claw comes down. Well, I said, if you get in one of those, I'll do the interview. And good news, looks like it's happening tomorrow night.
That claw game, and this is the one stipulation I said. I don't mind getting inside of a claw game, okay? In fact, back in the day, the crane, the claw thing, everybody probably thought, hey, this would be cool to be inside of a claw game, right? It's probably, who has probably done that? This will be kind of interesting for me. Something I haven't done.
All right, yeah, so it'll be a new experience. That's what we do here at Jimmy Kimmel Live. We make dreams come true, although there is, according to Mike, there is one condition.
You better tell me if you're going to put stuff in there, what's going to be in that claw game. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't want anything that, I don't know what would the word be, evil, whatever.
The claw game doesn't need to be branding some kind of,
kind of evil things. That's exactly right.
Right. I promise, Mike, we won't put evil things in the claw machine. No pentagrams, no talismans, there will be,
oh my God.
There's going to be one satanic Rottweiler in there. But otherwise, it'll just be you and a colorful assortment of plush animals and plastic eggs. So tomorrow night,
So yeah, he's going to tonight. So if there was ever a must-see TV, if you want to see Mike Lindell literally in a claw machine, he gave an interview to the Daily Beast. Mike Lindell did, and he said He said that I can go, but I got to go in the claw machine. He says, I'm trying to save our country before. And then he said, I'd be safer in the claw game with everybody shedding, right? And you know what shedding is? It's that conspiracy theory that people are shedding the COVID-19 vaccine. So he actually thinks he'd be safer, Mike Lindell does, being inside the claw machine while on the Jimmy Kimmel show. The guy is completely wackadoo. Oh my God. I just don't get it. But there he is, Mike Lindell.
I don't think that it's fair to say that, I mean, I guess you could argue that Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't have him on knowing that he's mentally challenged in the first place, right?
No.
But if he is going to have him on, then I don't see how you interview someone like that without bringing up conspiracy, lies, possible mental illness, to talk about these things, because that's who this person is. So how do you ignore that and just let him spout off stuff without questioning, without, raising a point, without saying, hey, pal, I'm concerned about you. You're going down a rabbit hole here. I just don't. The only other option is either don't have him on, or if you have him on, then face it head on like he's done.
Well, yeah, and I think that Jimmy Kimmel, obviously, since he's had him on before, completely understands how to deal with the guy. I don't think Mike Lindell's doing himself any favors, though. No. It's as if he's lost the ability to read the room of how it looks. Like, dude, you look nuts.
I mean, you never think that you're crazy, right? When you're the nuts person in the room, you never think, I guess it's me.
True. Yeah, exactly.
I'm the one that's a whoop, whoop. Never think that.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Right. You never think that.
No, I guess not.
You think that guy is a little woo-woo. You don't think it's you. So maybe he just doesn't get it. Like he's not self-aware to realize that, he comes off as a wackadoodle.
Well, I mean, it's the same as John writes in, I'd like to see Rudy Giuliani in a claw machine. That's another guy that just fell off. And you have to wonder, there was a CNN special. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it? CNN did this whole, I don't know, the spiraling of Rudy Giuliani or something like that.
Oh my God,
I'll have to go back.
Hair dye dripping down the face.
Oh my God. And just, I mean, the Four Seasons, what was it, like the auto parts store that he was doing that press conference in front of?
And then you wonder, who are your people? Like, who are your people, Mike Lindell and Rudy Giuliani?
In your ear. Oh yeah, let's go. Go ahead.
Is there no one to say, hey, Dad, Uncle Joe, like whoever you are? Rudy, no. Is there someone that loves you that can say, your public image is taking a real hit here. I think you ought to stay out of the spotlight for a hot minute till we can sort you out. Right?
Obviously
it's like your best friend doesn't let you walk out of the house looking, with red underwear and white pants.
Yeah.
These are the things, we're there for each other. Who are their people? Why are there no people protecting them?
That's a very good question. And I the only thing that I could imagine is similar to the former President Trump. Once you have somebody that's trying to talk you back into reality, they're fired. You get them away. Oh, no, don't listen to that person. That person's crazy. Oh, you're with the libs now. You're with the Dems. You're part of the deep state. Fill in the nonsense, right? Also, I mean, there has to be, similar to, I'm sure, family members and friends that believe in these conspiracies, right? If you give in, then everything starts to fall apart, right? All of the arguments and the things you believed in and what you did to your company and all of this, the reputation dissolves, and that has to be extremely hard for anybody to come to terms with. So you have to stay on the crazy train, because if you don't, then you actually have to realize what you have done to not only yourself, but your family, your friends, your business. That's tough for a lot of people. And I would imagine that they just don't want to do that. So good luck, Mike Lindell. I don't usually stay up. I'm not going to stay up. I'll catch it online tomorrow, because there's just no way in hell I'm staying up that late. Even doing this show, I'm such an early bird, so I cannot do that.
Cocktail and you go right to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I just go to bed in a drunken stupor every night. I don't make it past 9 o'clock. That's me. All right, let me give some shout outs before Kim's news. I want to say thank you to Richard Cohen. Love you and Kim with $20 in the super chat.
Oh, that's
thank
nice.
you.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you so much. And Andreas, we love you. Welcome back. Sorry, Kim. I'm a Joe Montana guy. Bring Joe back. I'm with Kim with a $20 donation. Andreas, I'm so glad that your mother is doing better. I love that you support the show so much, and not just with that one $20 donation, but love you with another $20 donation. So mwah, mwah, mwah. I really do appreciate it.
He's such a big personality. I don't know if you've received emails from Andreas.
Oh, yes. Oh, I
He's
love him.
such a
Keep
great
sending him in.
personality.
He really is. And so, again, click the thumbs up button. It helps us out. Also, if you want to be like Andreas and others and donate to our super chat, please do. It helps us support the show and keep the lights on, figuratively and literally, because it really helps everything out. When we come back, would you ever want to go back to high school? I mean, what is it? What is it with these people sneaking back into high school? How was your high school experience? I'll tell you about mine. Kim will tell you about hers. We'll also get an update on Jacob and his kick me style. I'll share some cute stories about my packing adventures and my detour down memory lane. But first, let's do some news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. There is a declining birth rate in part of China. Oh, a fuzzy picture of little babies there. But yes, so there's a declining birth rate in China, and it's bringing a change in one Chinese province. Now they are dropping restrictions on unmarried people having children. Can you believe they had restrictions on that in the first place? So, such a different experience than America, right? China's southwestern province of Sichuan is doing away for now with restrictions on unmarried people having babies. China's population dropped last year. It was the first time in 60 years that that happened. So, as of right now, the rule in the Sichuan province is that only married couples can register the births of up to 2 children. And registering the children, it gets them, whatever benefits that are offered from the Chinese government. Starting February 15th, all citizens, including unmarried parents, will be able to register with no limit on the number of children. So things changing a little bit in China because of a declining birth rate. Something happened today in the Nantucket area. Yeah, a ransomware attack forced the closure today of 4 public schools serving about 1,700 students on the island of Nantucket, Massachusetts. They sent out an email to parents. This is a hacking incident, shut down all student and staff devices, safety and security systems at all Nantucket public schools. So they had to dismiss all the kids early today and say, that's it. You guys have to go home now because we can't guarantee safety and there's really nothing we can do. So ransomware attack, and no word yet on how they're going to handle it, what they're going to do. Do they pay the ransom, or how do they, call in a specialist? I don't know how you get rid of that, but that is happening in the Nantucket area. Did you know there's a news story saying that marijuana and the use of other substances, drugs, dropped during teenagers in the first year of the pandemic, but increased for adults? Apparently,
I believe
it. Didn't handle it. Yeah. So adults' use of cannabis, illegal drugs, and alcohol, including binge drinking, either stayed the same or increased compared to 2 years before the whole COVID thing. Substance use decreased between 2019 and 2020 for those aged 13 to 20 years. But over 20, apparently we're boozing it up, smoking it up, doing whatever we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I understand during COVID, it makes sense. I think it's become a bad habit for a lot of these people. I think a lot of adults just didn't do well with the quarantining, becoming teachers to their children if they had them, working from home, losing their job. And sadly, when you can't get it together, drugs and alcohol, that's a way to escape.
Yeah, I think that was definitely why the people were depressed. People were looking for, a way not to be so sad over the whole thing and feeling isolated and bored. And so that's what we had, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So snowfall in the Tahoe area hitting 100% of the average in California, Sierra Nevada mountains. So this has happened. We've got 2 months left in our wet season, but we have already beaten what we would have ordinarily seen in a full average year. So this is a good thing. The current season, the current water year, October 1st to September 31st, we usually get 360 inches or about 30 feet. That's the normal. Okay. So we already have that. We're done. We don't need any more. Apparently.
Stop already. All right, we got it.
So yeah, recent data from the California Department of Water Resources shows snow water equivalent currently 210% of normal levels for January 30th and 129% of the April 1st average. But with that comes some problems because apparently when it rains on snow melts and it all happens very quickly and can cause flooding. And so then how do you save that water when you're talking about flooding and runoff and such?
We need better storage.
Yeah, so we might have a problem and might not be exactly what we need it to be. But the Southern Sierra is an impressive 255% of that area's average. Central Sierra, 211%. Northern Sierra, that's the Trinity region, 172%. So right now, snowpack stuff looking mighty good.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, it's been Steve putting his tax knowledge to work for you, for your individual needs, for your business needs, whatever you got. Steve can help you take care of it with success. His number is 888-TAX-DEAL. You can find him online as well at moskowitzllp.com.
I haven't filed a tax return in years. What should I do?
Not filing a tax return for years isn't a surprisingly common problem. And the number one reason people don't file is just because they didn't have the money in year one, and then year two runs around, and then they say, well, how can I file year two if they didn't file year one and they still don't have the money? And then it becomes a lifestyle, a criminal-like lifestyle. The other reason is somebody depended on somebody, a spouse, a business partner, they're gone, they don't know what to do. The bottom line is we can get all of the records that the IRS and the state has on you. We'll file all the returns that you need to file, no matter how many years it is. And then if you're the typical person and you just don't have the money to pay the taxes, that's okay. There's all kinds of good options for you. In almost all cases, we do everything for you. You don't have to talk to the government, deal with them, have anything to do with them. And don't stick your head in the sand because the IRS is hiring 87,000 new IRS agents and you don't want them knocking on your door.
This is not legal advice, and you should consult with your tax attorney or professional.
Thank you for joining us for the second part of the Nikki Medoro Show, live on YouTube or anytime you want to listen to us, of course. VG George was asking about my daughter. She's doing well.
Good.
You want to know the most difficult part now of the whole damn thing? And I'm sure she's listening because she's home. She's going to be home this week. They're letting her recuperate. Although she can walk. I mean, it is amazing. I keep looking at her. I'm like, what you went through and what was pulled out of you and then being sewn back together and all those sorts of things. It's amazing how the body kind of heals itself. And they do say she's a kid. If it was like us, we'd be down for like 6 weeks. Like, okay.
It was major abdominal surgery. Did you have a C-section?
No.
With either of your kids?
No.
So with the first one I didn't, but the second one I did.
You did. And that's painful.
They cut you open. It is major abdominal surgery where they're moving things around and getting in there. And it's crazy how you're sitting up in bed hours later.
Yeah.
And they've got you on your feet.
Yeah, they want you walking. That was the most important thing. They want her walking.
So yeah. So I mean, I can believe that she's doing well and that she's recovering and that she's bouncing back fast.
Yeah, but now she's a 13-year-old who wants to eat all the crap food, and I'm getting heart palpitations because she's not even a week out from surgery. Yeah. I want a Doritos Locos taco. I'm like, no, I want fried chicken. No.
I
And then
can
it's like,
understand that after not eating
I
for
eat it for
so
so long.
long.
And that's what she said. She said, I haven't eaten for
Yeah.
2 weeks and I don't get anything. So she had this laundry list of
Yeah.
food that was like the stoner's dream. Okay. I mean, from pizzas to Subway, I mean, everything that you could possibly think of, which, obviously
Yeah.
as a kid, but now she
Yeah.
wants to start diving into that list. And I keep telling
But
her,
the whole
no.
Well, the whole point of the surgery and the recovery, right, was to calm down her
Yes.
guts basically
Yeah.
and make sure her intestines are nice, smooth, and easy. So now we only want to put stuff in there that's
Mhm.
going to be easy to go down and streamline,
Well,
right?
because she can't have, so for instance,
I don't know if the Doritos burrito from hell is, exactly what the
Exactly.
doctors had in mind.
Well, her Crohn's is like the inflamed part is gone, right? So
Mhm.
technically, I mean, at this point, from what I understand, she'll always have Crohn's, so she can have flare-ups. So we
Right.
want to minimize the flare-ups, right? We don't
Right.
want to cause anything like this again.
Yeah.
And so I keep telling her, like, let's just go easy. Am I saying
Right.
you can never have a Doritos Locos taco ever again? No, but you may not want it after you eat it because of what it does to your
Right.
body. Do you want to go through all that again? And so having a mature conversation about food with a 13-year-old who wants to eat all the crap that she hasn't been able to eat for so long
Sure.
is really difficult right now. Like this morning, we were like arguing with each other because she's crying and she's basically saying, I wasn't able to eat. Now I don't get anything on my list. And I'm like,
Oh,
no.
baby.
And not to mention, sadly, the things that she does want, I can't make because I packed up all of our pots. So,
Yeah.
like, so she wants ramen, which is fine. You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
can have some ramen, except I don't have a pot. And then I was like, well, I could boil some water in the microwave, but she doesn't want it that way. And so it's like, I'm dealing with an angsty kind of teenager. And we know, Kim, as parents,
Oh, yeah.
you got these battles on your hand where you have to be the one that say, no, I am the parent. Suck it up, Buttercup. I'm sorry.
I know, but the thing is, she hasn't wanted to eat for so long that I'm kind of excited that she has her appetite
Yes,
back
I
and that she
know.
wants to eat all these things. It's just going to be a balance to kind of get her
Yes,
to see that
balance.
she's going to end up right back in the hospital if
Mm.
she doesn't tamp it down and keep it mellow.
Exactly,
know.
exactly. I know, but
You
it's
hearing
just
me, Marley?
exactly right. Are you listening, Marley? Are you listening, my
Mhm.
daughter? So, before we get into people trying to sneak back into high school, I need an update. How did my love Jacob? What happened? What did mom do to poor
So
little Jacob who just wanted to make somebody laugh with a kick me sign? I mean, what did we
she's
do?
so funny. And this is not a funny situation. This is a mom, don't laugh. I have to, don't
It's
laugh.
kind of funny. Just
Don't
don't laugh in
laugh.
front of him.
So it was his little friend Leo. He's put the sticker. I said, "Where'd you get the sticker to put kick me on the back of it?" Apparently, there was some type of an aide or something that left sticky notes on the desk. On
Oh,
his
so this
desk.
is like a post-it note. It's not like a
The post-it.
gigantic.
No,
Okay,
it's a
okay, okay.
post-it note.
A post-it note. Okay.
So she leaves the post-it notes on his desk, and he takes it upon himself to write one. Where did he get the idea? Apparently, those stupid shows on Disney, like the
Yeah.
teenage shows.
Yes,
They
a
did
a
some stupid
sitcom
prank.
stupid thing. Yeah. Mhm.
He's watching it a year ago with Julia, and this is where he gets the idea. He said he meant it to be funny.
Right.
This is a friend of his, what have you. But the PE coach sees him and busts him for putting a kick me sticker on another student. Completely understand. Inappropriate. The kid could have gotten kicked and hurt and whatnot. So I pick him up. And I've already had a communication with the teacher.
Right.
I was going to have him write on an apology note. She's
Right.
already done this. He's written an apology note to the teacher, to the student, to whatever else. So I'm thinking, the only thing left for me to do is take something away. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So he gets in the car, and I say, "Hey, how's your day?" And he's like, "Good, fine."
Deny, deny, deny.
I go, "Really? Anything happened at school today?"
I adore him.
Nope.
Like, really? You didn't even like give a hint, like, oh, something. I was brought
Nothing.
in. Nothing.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
And if I hadn't known, I would have totally bought it. Nope, nothing.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you didn't get notified, how would you know?
No.
I mean, obviously.
So I say, "So you don't consider getting sent to the office something happening at school today?" And he says, "How did you know?"
Oh, dummy, come
I
on.
said,
Parents are
"What do
always
you
notified.
think? Every time you ever get sent to the office and you're, first of all, I know all.
Yes.
Mom knows all. Second of all, anytime you ever get sent to the office, I will get notified by the school. So don't even try that
Oh,
baloney
it's
with
so
me.
funny.
I go, why were you not even going to tell me? And he goes, this kills me because I can understand and would have done the same thing.
Right.
I go, were you not even going to tell me? He goes, I was really just trying to avoid this whole conversation.
Let's not make things uncomfortable, Mom. We don't need to ruin the day. Let's
I
just
really
leave
just
that
want to
at
have this
school.
whole interchange with you right now.
Oh,
So
that
I
is
just really didn't want to
so
do that.
awesome.
So yeah. So he no video games for Jacob. Because that's all I can offer, right? Take away with the thing that they like the most. And we had to talk about respecting students, and he feels really bad. He's written the note, he'll never do it again, blah blah blah.
Well, good.
Yeah. So that's how it all ended up with
I
Jacob.
love the fact that he tried to deny it or just like ignore it. Like it didn't
He's
happen.
home from school today. He tried to walk into the I don't know if it was your show or Mark Thompson's show a few minutes ago, only wearing his boxer briefs, and I'm like, get out. Yeah,
This is
he's
a
not
family
feeling
show,
well.
Jacob. Oh, he's not feeling
Exactly.
well. Oh, poor
No,
baby.
he's got a little stuffed up nose. So
Well, it reminds me. So, you know, I did not have the best start of high school. Okay. Like I didn't want to
Right.
go. I didn't want to be there. I was a boy crazy, a freshman in high school whose father was making her go to an all girls Catholic school. I did not want to go, and all of my friends weren't there. I had no real friend. Well, I had one friend who's part of this next story. But not like most of my friends weren't there. They were all going to different public high schools, and we'd all gone to Catholic school together, but it was a mixed co-ed school for K-8. And all of a sudden, I'm just surrounded by girls, no boys, and I didn't like it. And so in my little immature 13-year-old mind, I was saying, you know what, if I get in enough trouble, maybe I won't have to go here anymore. Okay. And
oh
so
no, you didn't.
so my freshman year in high school, I got suspended because I cut class. And this is what reminds me of Jacob. So this was probably pretty early in the school year, probably a couple months in. Again, did not want to be there. And so I decided to ditch class with my friends. We walked, and you know what's funny is I still live in the neighborhood. So like I was like, and that's where I hung out when I skipped school. I've only skipped school once. I am the queen, and my brother will attest to this. I am the queen of doing something once, getting completely busted, and then never doing it again because I got in so much trouble. And so I skipped school all day. We go hang out at 7-Eleven. I mean, eating burritos. I'm just hanging out with my friends in the uniform, which is just a signal that I'm not supposed to be out of school. And then I sneak back into class before the last bell. And my friends that I did have there were like, they have been looking for you in every single classroom.
Oh no.
And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need an excuse. They've called my parents. Like, what am I going to do? So I've concocted this story that I was in the bathroom with cramps. And because I'm new to the school, I didn't know what the protocol was of when you didn't feel well. And so I was in the bathroom. The friend that I skipped school with was in there with me the whole entire time. It's not my fault that nobody noticed that I was in that bathroom, but that's where I was. So I go home. My dad is not buying this at all, but I'm refusing to give up my story. And I'm like, no, I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom. And then my friend's mom calls, and my mom's on the phone. And so my dad, I'll never forget, he looks at me, he's like, last chance. He's like, tell me the truth. And I'm just like hoping that my friend has held up her end of the bargain and is not broken and has not ratted me out. That I didn't, and she didn't. Like my mom got off the phone. She's like, nope. They say that they were in the bathroom the whole time. Now, still, my parents aren't idiots. I was grounded. Like it didn't matter at all that I was like, but I didn't. He was like, nope. I was suspended from school. I was grounded. I was telling my daughter this the other day. I was like, my dad threw out month-long groundings like confetti. I was grounded pretty much my whole freshman year in high school because I just could not get it together. Which in hindsight, was a good thing.
That one though, you know?
Oh, it was terrible. And yeah, I never cut school again. That was the only time I ever cut school. I was grounded till whenever. Every single time I got off grounding, I'd stay out like 10 minutes late. My dad would ground me for another month. I was always grounded my freshman. Yeah. So people were like, how was your freshman year in high school? I was grounded. So would I go back to my freshman year in high school? No. Things got slightly better my sophomore year, but it wasn't until my junior year that I finally just acquiesced and was like, okay, I'm obviously not going to be able to go to high school with my other friends. I might
Right.
as well just suck it up and go. And that's why it amazes me. Now I know these stories are different of people trying to sneak back into high school. The latest, did you see this 29-year-old woman pose as a 15-year-old student at a New Jersey high school? She gave a fake birth certificate. Would you tell me in the comments, would any of you go back to high school? I don't care if you were like captain of the football team, maybe if you kind of peaked in high school, but Kim, did you love high school? Would you go back? You were a cheerleader though. You probably would.
I did love high school.
Did
I had some
you?
good times. I had a rotten time in junior high.
Okay.
That's the moment where all the friend groups shift and you're trying to figure out who you are and what to do. And then when I got to high school, well, my freshman year was rough.
Okay.
And then I moved to Santa Cruz to live with my dad. And I went to SoCal High School. Go Knights. Woohoo.
Nice.
And made a lot of friends and was in student government and cheerleading and kind of like had that whole when they say when you immerse yourself in a place that you have a better experience. So I did have a really good experience in high school. I know that's not the norm. Would I go back to it? Only if I knew now,
Yeah,
then
you
what
were
I knew
smart.
now.
You were in high
Yeah,
school.
I mean, no, I mean, those experiences were then for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good high school
What's
experience.
funny is that when I look back on all the times that I was grounded, and not that these people grew up to be complete failures, but they did get in trouble, right? I mean, I had parents that were very, I wouldn't use the word necessarily strict, but if I messed up, I was grounded and they did not give in. It was like you messed up, you were grounded, and that was that. And then I think about if I wasn't grounded, what kind of trouble I would have gotten into and what path I would have gone down into. And that's what I expressed to my daughter who's about to go to high school next year is, if you mess up, there's going to be consequences. I will give you as much trust as you show me that you can handle. Obviously, at the beginning of my high school career, no trust, none whatsoever at all for me. But
one of the things I learned or that I did in high school that kind of set the pace for the rest of my life was the daily bulletin. So a lot of people from high school say, I remember when you did the daily bulletin every day over the loudspeaker or what have you. And that was kind of my first moment where I thought, radio. I want to do this.
Yeah. I never really thought about radio until I went to college. My freshman year in college is when I started a reggae music show at like midnight on Chico Radio. But yeah, it's interesting. But I was always a talker. Like if there was ever anything that was constantly written on my report cards, I'm sure you can attest to this as well. She talks too much. Actually, because I'm packing, I'm going through all of my old papers and letters. Oh, Kim, the letters that I have found. I was sharing this at the beginning of the show. So I have a box that I literally packed when I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17 years old. And I have moved this box of stuff with me in every move that I've ever had. And do I open it every time? No, it's just my box of memories. Well, I went through it last night.
Oh.
And I have this
with your cocktail?
No, I actually wasn't. I was
Were you
packing.
crying?
I was totally
Were you
sober.
drinking and reading and
totally
crying?
sober. But I have this. It's on the front. It is my very first Bible, right? It's this little tiny book, and it has like the Bible stories, some of the main ones, right? A little cartoon.
Only you have a Bible in your memory box.
But
I have
inside
like letters with California wine cooler pictures drawn on them.
Oh, you believe me, the devil was inside this all these love notes that I have, breakup notes that I have. And I'm so glad that I grew up in a generation in which we physically wrote letters. Now I'm not knocking, emails, and I guess you could print them out, but I mean, it's folded in a certain way where like you can tuck the corner and it was a kind of a shape. I actually am still friends with people that I knew in junior high. And one of my old friends, Oscar, I knew him, we were so close. I went to his freshman prom with him. We were only just friends. We never dated, but I had his old Great America season pass card for some reason, like this old card and a couple of letters from him. And just what's in the letters is like, so-and-so that he liked is mad at me because I'm writing you and your friend a letter and all like just this silliness and the innocence of the letters. Oh my God, it brought me right back. I had a couple of breakup letters from my 8th grade boyfriend. I had a picture of me and my 8th grade boyfriend on our Washington, D.C. trip. And my daughter's about to go. So I showed her this picture. She said that he looks like, oh, who did she say? She said
Do
he
we
looks like,
not scan the picture? Where's the picture?
well, I didn't think it was appropriate to show somebody's picture on my show. I don't know.
He's a child.
I know what you know what? You know what's funny is I Googled him. He has a very common name, so I'm not going to say it. He has a very common name. And so I don't think I would be able to find him, but like no Facebook connections as far as I know, unless he changed his name. But yeah, he was my 8th grade boyfriend. And Marley's like, he looks like Adam Sandler or somebody. And I was like, he does kind of, but I thought he was cute at the time. So yeah, I don't know. It's really nice. I have a movie ticket stub to Dazed and Confused. I have.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's
Is
not that you
worth
don't get
money?
Well, no. I mean, it's like the UA, United Artists, and it says
Yeah.
Confused on it. And I don't think of any other movie that I would have saved the movie ticket stub to other than Dazed and Confused. But yeah, I mean, I have a ton of movie stubs just that I saved, and it just brings $6.95. I think that's how much tickets were when I went to go see Dazed and Confused. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to go back to high school all over again. I think I'd like to leave it just where it was.
Yeah.
Joe writes in, just got an invitation for our grammar school class reunion.
Oh,
I would love to
wow.
go, but not to my high school, all boys.
Oh.
I would love to go to a junior high school reunion. I think I mean, high school, I'm not knocking you ladies at my high school.
Yeah.
I've been to them, but to go back to junior high, now that'd be going down memory lane.
I don't go to the
Absolutely.
reunions. I don't know why. I'm just not moved to go back.
I'd rather snack on broken glass than go back to high school, Heather
I
writes
hear you,
in.
Heather. Yeah.
Wow, really? Yeah, a lot of people are saying no. I don't think so. I find that interesting. I mean, if I knew now what I know,
Mhm. Yeah.
that whole thing,
Then what I
maybe,
know now? Yes.
yeah, then what I knew now. I just, but to go back for what? The other story about people going back, you heard about this one. A 22-year-old assistant coach allegedly posed as a 13-year-old girl and played in a junior varsity basketball game.
What in the world?
This was in Portsmouth, Virginia. Parents of the girl the coach impersonated told WAVY that their daughter was out of town for a club basketball tournament during a high school game at January 21st. Apparently, there's video of the game. The coach, identified as Arlisha Boykins, can be seen high-fiving other players on the team after making multiple plays.
And didn't the players know?
That's
Like,
what
wouldn't
I'm
they have
saying.
said, our coach is trying to play as a student? No.
Yeah, one of the fathers, his coaches always preach to the kids about integrity and those types of things. So I was just shocked. The assistant coach is obviously no longer with the school, and they've decided not to play any more games this season. So of course now the team has to take the L because the coach decided to fake it and go back to school. I mean, I know they make movies about this sort of thing. You're not actually supposed to do that. Not at all.
Wasn't like 21 Jump Street, the whole premise was that, this guy, a cop, looked like he could be young enough to go to high school, so they plant him in there as a student.
I mean, maybe if I got like Botox and like got rid of my wrinkles, simply because I'm so short, I could probably put a backpack on. I'll go to my kids, like I'll go to Starbucks, which is near my kids' school. And like these kids are taller than me. If I put a backpack on and kind of kept a hat down to cover my wrinkles to make me 40, I bet you absolutely people would probably think I'm supposed to be in class. Hands down. Kay in Santa Rosa, right? I went to my 10-year reunion and I wish I hadn't. I don't feel a connection to most of them. Yeah. Junior high was, I was the reverse. I loved junior high.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had a great group of friends. I also danced. That's when I was still a dancer. And so I had a great group of friends at dance. High school though, I just really had a rough start in high school, unfortunately. Okay. When we come back, okay. How many of you have cut the cable? Do you have cable still? You still have cable, right? Cut the cord?
I cut it. I cut it. I had the dish.
Okay.
And I was like, that's it. No more dish.
And how do you feel?
I feel like I watch less TV, but what I want is what I want to watch.
Right.
So there's no clicking through channels anymore. Like I don't have the let's see what's on, click,
Let's see
click,
what's
click
on,
from
yeah.
here to there. There's none of that. It's you know, when I watch something, I select it with purpose.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones. Like you watched it and then you just watched it, right?
Right. That's right. Or
so
a movie. Like the other day, Tim Sika
Right.
said, You People was a good movie he enjoyed. So I thought, well, that sounds like something I'm interested in. So I went and I watched it and I did like it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm moving. And so the big question is, do I give up satellite TV? So when we
Yes.
come back, I figured you'd be promoting that. So
Yes.
my problem is, you know, I look at people like, are you able to watch, for instance, Kim, and I don't know, you know, what you exactly subscribe to. Were you able to watch the Niner game, or do you not even care because you didn't even watch it?
Don't care.
Yeah, so you
But
don't
if
care.
I wanted to, I'm sure there's a way streaming that I could have watched it, you know, sign up for ESPN or whatever. So I have the package that gets me, I think it's like a bunch of channels at once. So you get
Do you get local?
You get KQED and National Geographic and the Discovery Channel and all that. So you can get that. And then there's also some streaming app that we have that I can get some local news channels as well as CNN.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. John Smith wrote in You People was great. I watched that while I was in the hospital with my daughter. Did you see You People with
Yeah.
Jonah Hill? It is so funny, and Eddie Murphy is in it. That's a good
You look
movie.
like a young Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, so funny. I definitely watched that. Okay, so you guys tell me, I want to know, have you cut the cable? And more importantly, how many streaming apps do you subscribe to? Because there are so many, and not just the ones off the top of your head like Netflix and Prime Video. There are so many that I'm wondering, should I just get freaking cable? Like, with all that we're paying, you tell me, have you done the math of how much you're paying for all your streaming services? Also, I'll give you the list of that. And they're speaking of things to watch. There's a new biopic that's coming out. And I'm wondering if we should go and see it. Do we give, you know, a little leeway simply because it's MJ? So that's all coming up after Kim's News.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. No, Trump story is complete without a picture of the former president, so I think we have to do it. You'll think to yourself, Kim, why are you making us look at former President Trump? Yes, I am making you look at him instead of me. The former president is suing journalist Bob Woodward for copyright violations. Here's why. Former President Trump says Woodward released audio from all the interviews that they did without his consent. The interviews were for this second book on the former president called Rage. It went on sale in 2020. Woodward later released the Trump tapes. It's an audio book with 8 hours of raw interviews with the former president, with the author's commentary. That went on sale in October of last year. It's got the 20 interviews that Woodward did with Trump between 2016 and 2020. So Trump says in this lawsuit filed yesterday in Florida, he didn't give Woodward permission to release audio of those interviews. He said he told Woodward numerous times, those interviews are to be used by you and you only for the purpose of accurately quoting me for the written word, not for any other purpose or marketing or selling interviews to the public. But no, Woodward says that is not true at all. And Woodward and the publisher Simon & Schuster say Trump's case is without merit. So this goes forward. You know, Trump has filed a lot of frivolous lawsuits in his time. He has often filed lawsuits that have gotten tossed right out of court. We'll see how this one goes. It seems kind of like a delayed reaction. If the audiobook went on sale in October of 2022, well, it's now January of 2023. Why didn't you file the minute that thing went for sale?
Exactly. And, you know, I think that unless there's something written down where Woodward said he would not be using this, you know, it's his. You're doing the interview. And Mr. Former President, if you want to be quoted accurately, what better accuracy than your own freaking voice? So I mean, it's fair game, in my opinion.
You can't say that you were misquoted.
Right.
You can't say that, they got it wrong. There it is in your own words. Absolutely everything that you said is laid out for people to see. How can you misconstrue that?
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. We'll see where it goes.
So we'll see how that lawsuit goes. I don't know. Okay, so let's get to police shootings, because this is something that is happening in Alameda County, where now there's a renewed investigation going on. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Here's a picture. Oh, that's awful. I'm not going to show you that. I'm sorry. I was trying to get a generic picture of police up there, but we don't want one splattered with blood. I think not. This is happening in Alameda County, where the DA is reopening investigations for 8 police shootings and in custody deaths. The DA for Alameda County, her name is Pamela Price. She says today she's going to be reopening investigations into these shootings, some of them more than a decade old, to decide now whether charges should have been filed in those cases that never were. One of the cases includes Andrew Maupin Buckskin, Mac Jody Woodfox, both of them shot by Oakland police back in 2007 and 2008. Another one involving Hayward police, one with Fremont police, another with Hayward police and Pleasanton police involved as well. So all of these things to be re-examined now after the fact, with new standards applied, to go back and see whether or not the charges should be filed. It'll be interesting to see what the decision is on that. Today, by the way, is also the day that charges are being filed against Alec Baldwin. This is, of course, in the case of the Rust shooting that happened. And so we kind of knew this was going to happen, and now it becomes official that Alec Baldwin will have to go back and fight these charges. This is formal charges with involuntary manslaughter for the fatal shooting of his cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, on the set of that movie in New Mexico. The charging documents name Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was supposed to be handling the props, like that gun. And so this is 2 weeks after the announcement came that she would be filing charges. They say it's a pattern of criminal disregard for safety on this movie set. And so that is why they are filing the charges. Now, both Baldwin and Gutierrez Reed say they are innocent. They are vowing to fight the charges in this case. But here it is, finally official that this is happening. And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve Moskowitz has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, or maybe you're not struggling with your taxes or have a big tax problem, go call Steve Moskowitz. He'll do your taxes for you, and he might do it better than you could do it yourself. So you can call 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
Well, we have to give some breaking news, thanks to our friend Kim. Damn it! So, defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans. He's going bye-bye. He's going back to Texas. Apparently, this is a homecoming. Let me show his gorgeous face. I swear to God. It's not just that he's cute, but he is a good-looking guy. Here he is. He's right there in the middle in the black.
Why did you like him so much? Just
our defense is amazing. No, our defense is amazing. We don't want to lose him. So the Houston Texans are reportedly hiring Ryans to be their next head coach, which is awesome. I mean, it's you don't pass up this opportunity. They're signing him reportedly to a 6-year deal. They first interviewed him on January 20th, which was obviously before the game with the Cowboys. They conducted a second interview this morning in Houston. According to Ian Rappaport, they've agreed to terms. Ryans will be their new head coach. This will all be announced today. You heard it here as well. Oh, I'm so bummed. He is nice looking guy. But he's an amazing defensive coordinator. Our defense is awesome. And so we don't want to lose people like this. That's a bummer. But congratulations to a guy that totally deserves it. And that's the problem, is that when you have someone that's like really good at their job, then teams are like, hey, you want to be our new head coach? So that sucks.
Well, maybe if the 49ers learned from him, maybe the people working under him for the 49ers defense kind of absorbed. So maybe his legacy carries on.
Yeah, I'm really, really hoping. Okay, I'm going to do something really quickly because I'm seeing things. Okay, things are getting better. Okay, someone was saying my mouth and my words were not lining up, so
We
just
can't
tell
fix
me.
that.
I could refresh my page, but I'm not going to because I
Yeah.
see that it's not hiccuping anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how many streaming services do you subscribe to? I'm going to look at my phone real quickly. Okay, so 1, 2. Okay, these are the ones that I pay for. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. I have 9. I don't even know how much I pay anymore for these.
I'm at 7.
7. Do you know how much you pay?
I know.
Okay.
I'm not managing that. But I've been told I need to pare it down.
You probably do. I think we all do. Eric wrote in, my cable internet bill is $280. It includes
Oh.
phone that I never use, one 4K cable box, ESPN, NFL, and NBA, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. I also pay $15 or so for Netflix and $10 for Apple TV. Okay, so I think that you're kind of, so I'm moving. And so my plan, I have DirecTV right now, and I pay about $190 a month. $190.
That's too much.
That's way too much because a lot of the things that I watch on DirecTV, I can also get now because of these partnerships with the streaming services. Okay.
And let's go back to what's realistic. When you sit down and watch television, how often are you watching DirecTV service versus streaming services?
Right. Exactly. I feel like I'm watching more streaming than anything else. Like This Is Us or The Last of Us is on HBO.
Trust me, you do away with it, and you know, there's sometimes you're like, I wish I could watch blah. But then you think, is that worth $190 a month? And you think to yourself, no, Nikki, it isn't.
No, it's
Bye-bye.
not. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go down the list of, I found this great. It's on Flix.io of all the streaming services. So most people in the US subscribe to, and this number might surprise you, 20 or so services. I mean, that's a lot. And you're like,
That's too much.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what those are. So let me just go down. Some of them you've heard of, some of them you probably haven't. Fubo TV. Fubo TV, it's a sports only internet TV streaming service.
Okay.
That would cost you 1 week free trial. After that, you pay $70 a month. No. There's Filio. Never heard of that. Okay, now Hulu plus live TV. That I think gives people a lot. That's Disney Plus and or ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people I think use. You get 75 plus live TV channels, some popular sports and entertainment. Hulu plus live TV I've heard is a good kind of package to have. And
maybe I have to reevaluate because I don't have Hulu. I only have Disney Plus. So maybe I should package that up. Yeah.
There's Sling TV, which is basically, it gives you every live TV streaming service on the list. It's $40 a month. But if it gives you all this TV streaming services that are owned and operated by Dish. Okay, so it's $40 a month. You get 30 plus channel with Sling Blue or Sling Orange. You could combine them for $50 a month. There's also Sling TV is not only one of the only live TV streaming services that occasionally offers pay-per-view. It's the only one that gets you DraftKings, which we don't care about. Now, I have DirecTV. Did you hear of DirecTV Stream? Apparently, this is $70 a month, and you get 65 plus channels. And it also carries some regional sports, which is what I would want. YouTube TV.
That I have checked out lately, and it's pretty cool.
That's $65 a month.
I know, but it has some things on it that are kind of cool.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's worth it to me. I feel like everything that's on YouTube TV will eventually make it on a different streaming service.
I think so too, but I would say YouTube TV, it appears to have local stuff, like local news and such. So I think it's a way to get your local channels if you want it. Plus, they have the 5th season of Yellowstone, which is,
there we
you
go.
have to pay for. Yeah.
What is Yellowstone? Is that like a Paramount? That's like one of their.
It's on Paramount Plus, but
right.
they want you to pay extra on Paramount Plus.
Why?
For that season. because they can.
See that, and that's my question. Are we subscribing to so many streaming channels that it's like we're paying for cable, and then there's people, idiots like me, who's still paying an exorbitant amount for a dish and like or DirecTV. And I keep asking my husband. I go, let's just give it up. We have so many streaming services.
Yeah.
I'm sure the show that you want is on one of them. And that'll save us almost $200 a month. That is a lot of money.
If the show you want, if you want it so badly, then you'll find the streaming service where it is. And if you just kind of want to see it, you get over it and you pick something else, which you then get involved in and like equally as much. It'll be okay.
I mean, Mud's right. I should just call. Well, that's what I'm going to do because I have to move my service. So I'm going to call today. That's on my list of many things that I have to do to prepare for my move. And I'm going to call them and be like, look, I'm thinking about cutting the cord.
I'm telling you, just don't call them. Just do it. You don't need it.
I know I'm out of my contract. I know I don't have.
You don't need it. Whatever it is, you don't need it.
I wonder if my husband would notice. I wonder how long it would take him to notice. Because then I'm like thinking, like, what am my children really don't watch TV? I want local news. I have to have local news.
Yeah.
I have to have, KTVU. I have to have Fox too. I have to have Channel 2 because we watch. I mean, they're the home of the Niners. We're watching. I mean, that's just something that I'm not giving up. Other than that, I feel like we can get everything else. If I got Hulu plus live TV, I'd have to look at the list of channels there.
See, I'm more of an ABC7 girl.
Oh, I do too for local news.
I need to watch my Dan Ashley and my people.
Yeah, but that's news. Like, do you watch shows on ABC7 that you're just addicted to? Because I don't feel like I watch that much.
The only shows that I watched, I used to like Chicago Fire and Chicago PD and Chicago Med. I used to seek
You're
those
like my
out.
mom.
And Survivor. I like those shows.
Oh, I like Survivor too. That's Channel 5, so that's CBS. Yeah.
Yes, but they are all on
Hulu the next day.
Well, I don't have Hulu, but they're all on. It's either Paramount or Peacock, one of those two. They're all on that.
Oh, because I know that Hulu, because our friend Carolyn Copeland, we're Survivor fanatics. So the next day, I'd have to wait a day before we could talk about it at work because she's like, I'm watching it. I was like, okay, you have to watch it because it's important. Let me see. Oh, my husband has texted me. I will notice instantly. Don't F around.
Busted.
I didn't think he was listening to the show.
I'm telling you, Mr. Medoro, you don't need it. I mean, honestly, like, why don't you try it without for like just a couple weeks, see if your life changes, and then if it does, then put it back in, right?
Yeah, and Floyd brought up something interesting. The Infinity Wi-Fi Flex box. I think this is going to sound so stupid, so don't judge me. I think I have that. So I have an Xfinity internet, okay?
Right.
And I got like the fastest one that I could get at my address when we were broadcasting from home. I needed all of that. And so I kept it, and they included, I think, I'd have to double check. I think they included this Flex box, but I didn't need it because I had DirecTV and I didn't even look into it.
Right.
I should look into that. $20 a month?
Maybe you're paying for two things at the same time.
I looked at my DirecTV bill. I'm paying for protection, like on these stupid boxes that don't even work and aren't even. I'm obviously I'm just saying that I'm dumb right now.
No, really. I was, I was the longest holdout, like your husband. I was like, no, I need my local news. No, I need my shows. Like I've DVR'd all these things that I don't want to lose. And then they kept raising the prices on Dish over and over again. And, you kind of get into a mode where you know how everything works and you have a system and you don't really want to change it.
Yeah.
That's how they get you. When my husband said, finally I agreed. He's like, we really need to think about canceling it.
Yeah.
And finally he wore me down and I was like, fine. I really have not cared. It has not made a lick of difference in my life.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the shows off the top of my head. So my husband likes, but I'm sure that it's included in some of these streamings. The History Channel.
Yep, that's on the one with KQED and the Discovery Channel.
Because he likes to watch the people that search for gold all the time. That apparently find it, but I never seem to watch the episode where they find it. He likes those types of shows. He's addicted to them.
He would have been a Gold Rush guy back in the day. He would have been up there panning.
Oh, yeah, or watching it on television. I know. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it because now that I'm moving, it's one of those things where you want to purge.
Yeah.
And you also want to set yourself up where you're not paying as much because I'm paying a buttload more in rent. So I need to kind of
Cut the
figure out.
costs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, that's an easy cut. It's like a landline. You so long you don't want to give up that number.
Yeah,
You've
I
always had
know.
that phone. You don't want to do it, and then you cut it, and you're like, huh.
Oh, interesting. Vilma says my YouTube is free. T-Mobile, she has T-Mobile, so that pays for Netflix. Vilma also says AT&T pays for HBO Max, and I pay for Prime. I mean,
Interesting.
I would definitely. I think okay. So these are the ones I think I definitely need. Hulu, but I might get
Right.
Hulu with live TV, so I'm going to look into that. Netflix, I know that they're going to stop the passwords sharing, and you guys know I do that.
I don't know how they're going to stop that, though. How they
I
can stop
know.
people from
Come
doing
and
that.
get me if you can.
So
Try to
YouTube, I would
catch
tell
me.
Vilma, YouTube is different than YouTube TV.
Oh yeah,
It's a whole different service. I just learned this a couple weeks ago. So yeah.
yeah. Because YouTube is it YouTube? Is it YouTube Red? RED? Is that what it is?
It
Because I
says
know
YouTube.
that.
It's YouTube TV that I was looking at.
Oh, but it's not YouTube Red. Because I thought that YouTube Red RED was. I'm just gonna Google it. Was where the new Karate Kid shows were.
Oh,
Or did
okay.
they? Oh, they changed. Meet YouTube Red. Oh, this is from 2015. So maybe they just call it YouTube Premium. Yeah. Oh
There's
yeah.
different
YouTube Red
services.
is done. It's YouTube Premium is taking its place. So
Like we're free on YouTube. This show.
of course, yeah, we
But
are.
there's actual, there's an actual service that you
There are
pay
shows.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, I think that when we're talking about streaming services, the reason why I actually was bringing this up is because Paramount, like a lot of these streaming services, has teamed up with Showtime.
Mhm.
And so they're trying to rival obviously HBO. So it's
Mhm.
going to be called Paramount Plus with Showtime. Let's see. It's gonna rebrand later this year. Although I have Paramount Plus and I could watch Showtime shows already on it. So I don't know if it's just
Really?
the branding that it needs to do. Yeah. So
Okay.
I could watch was it Billions was on Showtime? What else was on there? I think Succession is on Showtime. I think I'm correct about that, or is that HBO? I think I hear Succession is really good. I've watched like half the first episode,
Yeah.
and it's pretty funny. Apparently, it's a really, really good show. I just got to get back into it. I should spend, but again, if I really break down how much TV I watch on the TV that would use my dish,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it's very little. Most of the time, I watch TV on my phone. Oh, sorry, I turned the flashlight
Really?
on. Oh, when I'm getting ready, I just put the phone up against the mirror and I just have my TV. Right now, I'm binge watching, and I've already watched it, The Mindy Project with
Oh
Mindy
yeah.
Kaling.
Yeah.
It's just a cute show. And it's one of those shows you don't have to like look at constantly. That's what I like to watch.
Did you ever watch that show, The New Girl?
Oh, it's with that chick that looks like Katy Perry, right?
Katie Deschanel.
Yeah.
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel. Yeah.
Okay, that is a funny show.
Okay.
Really funny. Yeah.
Huh,
It's
well,
older
that's not
now, but
really-
there's like a million seasons of it, and it's worthwhile.
Okay.
Really funny.
Succession's on
way,
HBO, by the way. Okay.
I just saw a new story pop up. I've been following all these tech layoffs around the Bay Area.
Oh no, who's next?
Earlier, it was Workday that says they're going to cut 3% of their workforce. Workday is like one of these online time card
because we got laid off.
managers. So they're cutting 3% of their workforce. They're based out of Pleasanton. But the news story, just before 1:00, it came out that PayPal in San Jose is cutting 2,000 jobs.
Wow.
So just another, every day it's like the hits to the tech world in the Bay Area keep coming.
Again, and every time we talk about this, I'm really wondering if this is more of a reset because there was such a hiring surge. Remember all these companies were desperate for workers, where workers were, quiet quitting or leaving and seeing where the grass is greener. And
Right.
I'm not saying that all of them are or at that same level,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering, did you guys hire too much? Are these the people that are going to be the first to go? Is it a sign to come for like Workday, for instance? People working at home.
Workday
they don't
addressed
need it.
that. They said, no, this is not an overhiring thing.
Oh,
in their
okay.
statement today, they said, no, we didn't hire too many people. We are just changing what we're doing. Their research, I think it's their new products or research and technology department is what they're going to hit the most.
Mhm.
But other companies have said, yeah, you're right. We did hire too many people. We had a
Oh,
hiring
yeah.
surge. But one positive note that I did see today is that for all the layoffs that we're seeing across the tech industry, the common thought is there will be enough jobs, enough new companies, enough people hiring that people will still have a place to go and it won't be hard to find a job. You would
Okay.
think with so many people being laid off at once that it would be this kind of scrum for these tech
Right.
jobs, this mad scramble for it. But I guess there's so many tech jobs around that it's going to be
Yeah.
all right. It's going to be okay, people.
And yeah, I love Mindy's comment. Unemployment department will be busy. Yeah, maybe go work there. They're obviously probably hiring. Namet asked, have we checked out Chat GPT? Remember we were talking about it? It's that AI that writes papers for you.
I haven't. Have you done it?
So let me see if I could bring it up real quickly. We had one of our viewers that sent me a message on Twitter. Oh, I want to find it because he tried out the Chat GPT to write an article. Oh, here it is. Okay. Wes reached out to me on Twitter and asked Chat GPT to write a hypothetical story about the re-election of Donald Trump in 2024. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 7 paragraphs, which I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'll just read you the end. I'll read you the last paragraph. Okay. Trump's re-election was a surprise to many, and it sparked a heated debate about the direction of the country. Some felt that Trump's victory was a sign that the country was becoming more conservative and more isolationist, while others saw it as a mandate for change and a call to action. Regardless of one's stance, one thing was certain. The United States was in for an exciting and eventful 4 years under the leadership of Donald Trump. I could totally imagine a person wrote that.
That doesn't sound robot-y.
It doesn't sound robot-y.
With a weird language. It makes complete sense, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah. So, and it changes education. I think, you know what? I think the solution to it is more oral reports.
Oh, look at you.
The reason why I say this, you can have Chat GPT write your whole entire speech, but you still have to memorize it. You still have to do the notes. And so the learning can still happen.
Yeah, but the problem is that when you learn how to write, it's part of learning how to think and organize your thoughts and be clear and use words. We're going to allow kids to rely on
Spell
AI
check,
for writing.
calculators.
You lose a whole part of your development of your brain. No, it's different though. It's different.
Is it? I mean, because honestly, calculators, cell phones, Google, all of these things are ingrained now. So on one hand, I agree with you, Kim. I think that writing, developing arguments, setting up a paragraph, all these skills that are taught by doing this physically is important. But there are many advances in technology that have taken a part of learning away from us. Calculators to start with, spell check. I mean, voice texting, right? Voice messaging.
Voice texting, it gives me typos every day, but yeah.
Well, I mean, but my phone, you have an iPhone, right? My iPhone tries to put in punctuation and fix my grammar. It drives me nuts. I'm like, I did not pause there. There's no period there. There's no comma there. Ooh, I hear realtors love it for writing the descriptions. Interesting. Yeah. Oh wait, which one did you have, Kim? Many people don't think these days, they just consume social media, which thinks for them. Yeah, the algorithm. You live your life by the algorithm.
So I would say oral reports. I like that idea, although I did read something that it was an article about the thing that most people find the most frightening. Like, what's your biggest fear?
Okay.
And instant spiders. Done.
Okay.
Snakes, top of the list too.
Right.
Like
okay.
These are things that scare the crap out of me. Nuclear war. These are things that I'm scared of.
Okay.
Most people are scared of public speaking. That it was the top of the list.
Oh yeah.
And I remember my best friend in 3rd grade, we had to give an oral report, and I would walk from my house to her house, and then we'd walk to school together on the day of her oral report.
Oh yeah.
There's me. I can't wait to get up there and give my oral report. Like, I'm ready to go. She threw up on her way to school. She was so nervous. I think most people, and to this day, she hates to get up in front of people.
Right.
And she's poised and confident and funny and beautiful and everything. She just doesn't, that's not her thing. She doesn't like being up in front of people. And I think a lot of people are like that. I think you talk about having childhood anxiety. I think oral reports, you'd give more kids that.
Well, life's easy enough. You can suck it up. I'm just kidding. I had a friend in high school that you made me think of. Every time that she stood up there she believed it. And somebody would have to tell her this, and which I thought to myself, what kind of friend tells you this? She says that her legs, because we were in, Catholic school girl skirts, so your legs are showing. Her legs would get red and blotchy, and she could not stop thinking about it. And so she got really nervous. And I'm like, well, you're not looking at him. Just look at him. Don't look at him. And I was like you. I mean, yeah, I'd have a little bit of nerves, but it was more, am I going to remember everything? Not standing there and giving it wasn't the big deal. It was, do I know what I'm going to actually say type of thing. But I would just imagine I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, so this happened, and that happened. Kind of like how I do this show. You know what I mean?
Set the 3x5 cards down and just wing it.
Yeah.
Here I am with my public speaking. Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people are like that. I think a lot of people, and there's a million things I'm not good at. That happens to be the one thing in school where I never had trouble with that one.
Right.
But I think most people are good at everything else, and that's the one thing they're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're talkers. I think we're kind of built for that sort of thing. I can't imagine not being. Okay, we did it. I'm going to save it for tomorrow because I really want to get your take on this. There is a new biopic coming out about Michael Jackson, okay? And it's authorized by his family. So people are saying it's not going to include anything about the molestation allegations because they obviously would not want that to be part of the biopic. Now, we don't know for sure. I just read a brief article about it, so maybe there's been a statement on it. But I want to ask you guys tomorrow, would you go see it? Do you believe that Michael Jackson was a child molester? I mean, it's a basic question. And so if it's going to, in any way, shape, or form, kind of gloss over that aspect, should you guys go watch it? So we'll talk about that tomorrow and kind of the difficulty in, he was never in prison for this or anything like that. So should you think of him in that way, and should he be judged in that way?
It would leave out a whole part of his story.
That's the question. That's the question, So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Danny Masterson. He was from that 70s show, and Ashton Kutcher's comments about him because Masterson's been accused and is facing charges for alleged rape. So we'll talk about all that tomorrow. This from SF Tesla. ChatGPT rollout's perfect. It's been benched a year and just came out free to the public. Einstein's rolling over in his grave. Lori thinks that we can find imaginative ways to use it in class. I let kids use voice typing in Google Docs. They have to correct their own writing. As for English as a second language, it could be.
She's a teacher, so she's using it. She's using this.
I think you have to incorporate the latest technology so that you're up on it. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me say thank you to everybody that's been donating in the live chat. Lori at $20 writes
Lori
in,
above the bar.
I made a framed collage with all the concert tickets my husband had collected since the early 80s. Cleaned up a junk drawer and it looks pretty good. Nice. Thank you for that donation. Luis with $10. I'm glad your daughter is mending. Thank you. I love you, Andreas. $20 once, $20 twice. Thank you, Andreas.
Wow.
And then Richard started us off with an I love you and $20. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you
Richard.
all.
Thank
We
you.
will be back here tomorrow or anytime you could find us. Please click the thumbs up, share the show with your family and friends. Time to say goodbye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.